Namaste, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a fresh episode, a fresh conversation, a fresh perspective of AIDIA Talk. The world, despite being divided by geopolitical borders, is intricately connected by a myriad of forces that transcend these artificial boundaries. There are a lot of factors that contribute to a global interconnectivity that shapes up these complex and dynamic landscapes. And in the heart of all of it lies the art of diplomacy. At AIDIA Talk, we delve through these possibilities of foreign affairs and international relationships based on and truly proudly brought to you by the Asian Institute of Diplomacy and International Affairs. Our distinguished guest today is the non-resident ambassador of Lebanon to Nepal. He is also the ambassador to the Republic of India. His Excellency with him brings a wealth of insights that we are eager to explore historically, diplomatically, and of course the humanitarian dimension that Lebanon and Nepal has been sharing. Your Excellency, welcome to AIDIA Talk. I believe, yes, you've had a very busy schedule in your short visit to Nepal, but thank you so much for accepting our invitation and joining us for AIDIA Talk.
Thank you, Sahana. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. And thank you, and it's a pleasure to be with AIDIA. I have a good relation with the people on board, and I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
So what brings you to Nepal? Of course, you are the non-resident ambassador of Lebanon to Nepal, but what was the agenda during this visit?
My love to Nepal brings me to Nepal always. This is my fourth visit to Nepal. And every time I come here, I love the country more, and I am impressed more. This time the visit is both kind of official and unofficial. On official side, I have meetings with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, with the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, and also Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, Deputy Prime Minister, and also with other. I don't know if you want to load you with my agenda, but yes, I had some official meetings. And also I met with businessmen, chambers of commerce, and yes, I mean, I'm here to explore the country more, to promote Lebanon to Nepal and promote Nepal to Lebanon.
Are we looking at any possibilities of collaboration here? Are we opening up anything new, a new dimension to the existing relationship Nepal and Lebanon already shares? Is there anything new that perhaps you could share? Give us a little bit of sneak preview in the show.
The potential
today.
is always there, of course. I mean, our relationship goes back to 1963, so it's more than 63 years old. And the relation is excellent. We are enjoying good relationship on different arenas, particularly on international arena, politically, economically. We are together since 1963, as I said. But of course, there's always potential to boost the relationship, to enhance it, to take it further into better position. Yes, I mean, I can share with you that there are some serious talks with Lebanese investors to come to Nepal and invest in Nepal, and with Nepali investors and businessmen to go to and discover Lebanon. Because despite this relationship that I talked about, still the Lebanese market is not discovered well, in my point. Maybe not because I want it more. It's not discovered enough by the Nepali businessmen, and vice versa also. So the potential is there, and the opportunities are there. So it's our role to open the channels for both sides to go and do mutual business.
Of course, we'll get to the two distinctive and dominant sectors that we share when it comes to a relationship with Lebanon. But before that, you're also the ambassador to the Republic of India, a very good neighbor. Now, Nepal and India, there's so many similarities that we share with India. At the same time, the country is so different both the countries are so different, and at the same time, it's so similar.
Right.
As the ambassador to both the countries, when you sit in a diplomatic position and you look at these two countries, what are the challenges that you see, or how does the similarities that these two countries share help you in your diplomatic position?
Sure, it's a very good question. The Nepal and India, of course, they share lots of similarities, like you said. They shared history together, culture, religion, borders, the geography and history. So there are lots of factors that make the two countries very close. But again, every country has its own character, its spirit. When I come to Nepal, I feel like in different country. Of course, I don't feel like I'm in India. Of course, like you said, I still feel the temples, for example. I see some festivals, Dussehra here and Dussehra in
Dussehra in India, Dashain in Nepal. That's it.
For example,
Right.
Diwali, for example, is respected in both and observed in both countries. But the spirit is different, maybe because of the geography, the history, the community itself. So yes, of course. I mean, it's challenge. It gives challenge, but again, it is an opportunity for the ambassador to compare and contrast between two countries, and to learn from the experiences in both countries, maybe to overcome any hurdle that would face him or her in his job.
The challenges must be heavy on your shoulders as well, managing two countries at the same time.
Of course. And by the way, I'm also representing Lebanon in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, besides Nepal and India and Thailand. So I have 5 countries under my control from India. But it is manageable because, diplomacy goes beyond borders. It's not confined with any border. And frankly speaking, when I come to Nepal, the doors are open and the hearts are open. So whenever I come to Nepal, I don't feel like any difficulty, like I'm going to meet the minister or the officials or and of course I come ready, I prepare my agenda, I prepare my, the points of discussion. But then again, when you see the other party is welcoming you with wholeheartedly, and with love and with the same eagerness to promote the bilateral relationship, then more than half of your burden is relieved. And you are there. This is what I feel every time I come to Nepal.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, we talk about the bilateral relationships of Nepal and Lebanon. Now, there are 2 distinct areas that come to everyone's mind. One is the UN peacekeeping forces in Lebanon. Second is the Nepali migrant workers heading to Lebanon for a better future. We'll begin with the UN peacekeeping forces. How has it helped Lebanon, and how has it helped establish this beautiful relationship that we have? Now, I've done a lot of stories for the Nepali army as well, and when I talk to them on a personal level, for most of them, it is a dream to go on a mission to Lebanon or even Sudan, but it is such an important part of their career. How has it helped strengthen the relationship, the bilateral relationship that we already have?
One of the most thing that I like about Nepal is that they invest in peace. Besides investing in business and economy, and they invest in peace, which is, something very bright and very, commendable. Nepal is a peace-loving country. Wherever there are hotspots in the world, you see Nepali contingent there working in the peacekeeping forces, United Nations. So coming to Lebanon, UNIFIL, United Nations Interim Forces in Lebanon, was established in 1978. And since then, there has always been Nepali contingent within this force. Of course, they are playing critical role. They are playing very humanitarian role. They monitor the border, because every now and then we, unfortunately, in Lebanon, experienced aggression from the Israeli side. So, as UNIFIL, as the peacekeeping forces, they would, they don't have maybe the authority to defend the country, but at least, being there, monitoring the border, monitoring peace, gives them good authority. And yes, they are playing a good role. And we in Lebanon always thankful to the Nepali government that they have this big contribution in peace in Lebanon. And we encourage them to keep it going on.
Has it helped strengthen the relationship? Is it the base of the healthy relationship that
True, it is
our
one of the
countries
main
share?
factors that, of course, it enhances the relationship between Lebanon and Nepal. We have different, like you said, the Nepali workers in Lebanon. But again, this if we focus more on this domain, yes, the Nepali presence in Lebanon has given this relationship between our two countries a great boost. And we always, especially every time you want to renew for the mandate of this forces in Lebanon, we also get into talks and ask the help of Nepali government to promote more.
So are we working on a greater number of people to serve in the mission there? Because
so far we have,
as of October 2023, somewhere around 874.
Exactly, about 900.
Nepali soldiers are on the mission, but are we looking at growing the mission and having more soldiers join for the peacekeeping mission?
This is subject to not only to the Lebanese and Nepali government, otherwise we would have lots, of course, many more. But again, it's up to the United Nations. So, there are some regulations that should be followed. Mm-hmm. So, the main thing is maybe more than the number is the presence itself. 900 is, like I said, one of the biggest contingent of peacekeeping forces. But the role is maybe more, even more than the 900 troops. Mm-hmm. So yes, we are always in touch, and we welcome the increase of the UNIFIL forces in Lebanon, and we would love them to be Nepali, of course.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great. Yeah. Let's talk about the Nepali migrant workers in Lebanon now. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, these are the two distinctive areas, subjects that come to everyone's mind when we talk about the relationship that these two countries share. Now, in August 2023, Lebanon extended a proposal to employ Nepali migrant workers to the country with the new reformed policies that there is. What is the present condition at the moment? What is the flow of Nepali workers, migrant workers, to Lebanon?
Lebanon is a good host to any foreign labor worker in Lebanon. We are pleased to receive workers, our friends from Nepal, before COVID-19 in 2019, and after COVID we also slipped into some economic crisis in Lebanon. So before that we had some sizable number of Nepali workers in Lebanon. I think about 12,000 there were. After the COVID and the economic crisis that we are still facing, this number drops down to about 2,500, 3,000, which is still, a good number, because given the small population of Lebanon,
but that is a drastic drop.
That's not only with Nepali workers, many foreign workers left because of the economic situation and the depreciation of the currency. But I believe that this is only temporary. Hopefully, we'll get over this crisis, and then we'll be more than happy to receive more.
Is Lebanon
workers
working on getting the economy of the country and the environment of the country more lucrative? Because losing workers is also perhaps losing opportunity.
Lebanon is maybe has small economy but vibrant economy, and any loss to the economy is not, I wouldn't say easily, but it can be mended and can be corrected. So we are, of course, working on rectifying the economy and boosting the economy. We are in talks with different international sites like World Bank or IMF, and so there are the potential is there to get out of this crisis, and we will. But getting back to Nepali, the situation to Nepali workers in Lebanon, the situation is, of course, getting better. It's more now regulated, and the rights of any laborer with every category is guaranteed and secured in Lebanon.
I'd like to draw your attention to the Kafala system. Did I say it right? Kafala?
Kafala, yes.
Kafala.
Yeah.
Now, Kafala is a sponsorship system, and it is also a customary practice. Basically, it's a collaboration, a contract between
Right.
a domestic worker and the employer.
Right.
Now, I think because of this system, which, as per my research, was not under the legal reform, which is why countries like Nepal have banned, especially women, going for domestic as a domestic migrant worker to countries like Lebanon, and it's not a good thing for any country, because people are looking for opportunities, and if there is an opportunity, they will grab it. Now, what are your takes on Kafala? Is it still off from the radar of the legal reforms, or has there been any changes?
I first want to say something that about Nepali women going to Lebanon, that they are, of course, every time they are welcome to Lebanon, and we still have some, of course, female workers, maybe before the ban. The ban didn't come particularly to Lebanon, because in Lebanon, all workers are respected, and particularly women. And Nepali women, we discussed earlier that they are diligent, the Nepali in general, Nepali worker, they are honest, and they are creative. So that's why any Lebanese employer would love to employ a Nepali worker in his establishment, or even at home, or in any work, any business. But maybe the ban comes globalized or generalized, let's say,
Not just Lebanon, but a lot of other
for
countries
certain
as well.
country, maybe until more guarantee are secured to the worker, the female workers. Current Lebanon has overcome this and went beyond Kafala system. We have now better regulations. It's no more up to the employer to determine the salary or the working hours or the conditions, all other conditions of the worker. No, there is law that guarantee the right, which is, by the way, abide by the universal human rights. And it's very well applied in Lebanon and monitored. So now I will tell you that
is there
any
also
worker,
a regulation for, let's say, like a minimum wage or a certain days off, everything?
Minimum wage, number of hours, the day, every a day off in every week. Yes, of course, the conditions are there, and the regulation, like I said, is more in favor of the worker more than the employer.
Now, we spoke about the UN peacekeeping mission. We spoke about the Nepali migrant workers, guests of Lebanon. But other than these two areas, are there any new collaborations that we're looking forward to? Perhaps something to do with the youngsters of these two countries, or think tanks that we could possibly look into, agricultural exchange, educational exchange. Are there any areas that we're looking at and looking for similarities, or let's say completely contrasting areas where we could collaborate?
Again, very good question. Yes, we do. Diplomacy is, not only the official channels. Diplomacy is people-to-people collaboration, is institution to institution. So yes, we are exploring different channels. We on tourism front, for example, we will establish, or we have established, society. We call it the Lebanese Nepali Friendship Society, which will promote both countries to each other. I mean, the mutual promotion, Lebanon to Nepal and Nepal to Lebanon.
Culture and tourism.
Culture and tourism, because we have lots of things to offer to Nepali tourists, and also Nepal has lots of varieties and beauty to offer to Lebanese tourists. On culture and education, again, we have explored this, and also in investment. Besides the official channel, I have conducted some meetings. I've held some 2 or 3 meetings so far with Nepali investments, and we discussed the way to bring them to Lebanon, to invest in Lebanon, and in certain particular field in Nepal, they asked the investment of Lebanon in this field, which is hydro energy. It's not secret, but yes, I mean, it is because it's promising sector in Nepal. And we, so far, I have got some positive feedbacks from Lebanon. We will be doing some good job together, and maybe with our next meeting, I'll tell you about what happened.
Perhaps, we're exploring new areas and subjects
True.
in our next interview.
Exactly.
That would be lovely. Now, I'd like to draw your attention to the Beirut explosions of August 2020. Now, 2020 is a year that nobody wants to recall again because of the pandemic. The world was brought to a standstill, unprecedented times of our lives. And when an explosion like the Beirut explosion, which is also known as the largest non-nuclear explosion of all times, 200 casualties, over 6,000 injured, 70,000 homes and buildings destroyed, and 300,000 left homeless. Now, these are staggering numbers. For a country like Lebanon with, let's say, the population of around 5 million, how difficult was it to bounce back from situations like this, especially during the pandemic? And it did hit the economy of the country very deeply and very painfully after that. How did the country bounce back?
The explosion was, it's a very disastrous. It's one of the darkest and hardest catastrophe that we faced. It's unfortunate, of course. I don't know. It affected every Lebanese and everyone, like you said, in the world.
It was a global news
It was a global catastrophe. And by the way, we are thankful to the Nepali government and people, because at that time I received many calls that many Nepali volunteers went to Lebanon just to help, with whatever they can do. Just normal Nepali went to volunteer in Lebanon. How we get out of it? Like I said, the Lebanese economy is small but vibrant. The Lebanese people have experienced lots of catastrophe in the past and wars, but from every war they would get stronger and would get out of this crisis. So I'm sure that after what happened in 2020, August the 4th, yes, Lebanese people they had hard time, of course, but then again they were adamant that they will not let this catastrophe stop them or kill them. They will again get out of it, and they have started. Life goes on with the resilience of the Lebanese people and the help of friendly nations like Nepal. We will get over it. It impacted the economy, especially that we were already facing economic crisis after COVID.
And it was the Beirut port. It is one of the most busiest places and very important.
This has aggravated the economic crisis in Lebanon. But then again, as I said, with the help of friendly nations, we will get over it. Things are now getting better, but we still have lots of things to do.
I ask this because no country is spared from catastrophe. You don't know when is it going to strike, but I think when we hear such stories of bouncing back from setbacks like this, is we learn as well. It took me back to 2015, the April earthquake in Nepal. Nobody thought about how that Saturday would turn out. Everyone before 12 o'clock were making plans for the Saturday, and 11:55 things change. It took us years to bounce back from something like that, and perhaps sharing these kind of stories might help us learn how.
True. That's why I told you it took time, but we are getting over it. Before I met you now, I met with the chief of Nepali Authority for Disaster Prevention, and we also talk about this, the earthquake of 2015 and the landslides that happened, and also about the Beirut port blast.
Explosion.
So yes, we said the same, that we shared even the catastrophe. We have something with similarity, and we also agreed to exchange expertise. and to open channel between both
Like disaster
authorities.
relief
Yeah, the
opportunities.
disaster relief and prevention between our two countries to help each other and exchange expertise and know-how. So yeah, this is. I mean, I'm glad that you pointed out this point because we just also talked about it with the officials.
Wonderful. Lebanon is also a country that boasts tourism, but at the same time, with climate change taking over the world gradually, but it's coming fast and it's coming every day. We don't see it, but we see it maybe after some time, but we know that it's coming. Even in Nepal, the mountains that we used to see, that used to be white, now they're rocky at some part of the year.
True.
And it scares us. Is it the same in Lebanon? How badly or how closely has climate change hit the country? Again, a ripple effect coming down to tourism. How has it impacted?
The climate change, of course, has affected Lebanon, but maybe not with the heavy impact like we see in other countries.
Because there are some reports that say that the snow is melting. And as you mentioned earlier, you know, in one single day you can experience the snow and the sand at the same time.
Exactly.
How wonderful is that and convenient is that? But is there an awareness regarding climate change? Because in Nepal there has been a deliberate effort to make people aware. Now you look at the geography of Nepal, we have the mountains, we have the hills, we have the Tarai.
True.
People are scattered everywhere, and where do you start with the literacy program when it comes to people? It's a long way, but there has to be a start. Has there been a start in Lebanon with the climate change awareness, literacy that is required and a must and in this world at the moment?
True. The awareness is there, of course. We're very much aware of the climate change and of its impact, the bad impact that it has on the future of this planet in general. So yes, there are steps taken with every maybe industry and every business to control any, for example, gas emission or anything that would affect badly the climate change. But the thing in Lebanon is that we are, like I said, small economy and small population, and we don't have like heavy industry that would produce or emit bad gas, for example, large quantity of gas. But at the same time, we still follow up with the international regulations. We attend every conference and we abide by the regulations, international regulations that would control the drastic effect of the climate change, so global warming. So yes, we are following this, and but like I said, because we are a small economy and not much into big and heavy industry, so that is controlled in Lebanon, and our percentage of the pollution of the earth is
minimal compared to the other parts of the world.
And insignificant. Yes. Very,
all right, let's talk
much.
about the youth of the country back in Lebanon, because I think the power of any country is the youth. There were times, let's say, when the leaders would say the future of the country is the youth, but now that narrative is changing to the present of any country is where the youth is. Give us a glance of the mindset of the youth back in Lebanon. How motivated are they? Basically, the youngsters, the youth population of Lebanon. Tell us about them.
I know this topic is dear to your heart about youngsters.
It should be dear to everyone.
Yeah, and it is, yes. Because they are the future. They are our future, the future of their countries and the future of the world in general. So yes, we do maybe put lots of resources and efforts on the youth themselves. Lebanon is a young country. I mean, the youngsters represent a good proportion. I think about more than 60% of the population, 65% of the population are young. So yes, they are vibrant and like they're that every Lebanese. They are exposed to the cultures of all regions and the world. I mean, as a government, let's talk now. The education is there for everyone. It's free education for the youngster, and it's obligatory. That's why the literacy rate in Lebanon is very high, as you know, more than 90%. That's because that's our force. You know, we don't have lots of resources. It is an investment. It's a lucrative investment. We don't have much resources in Lebanon. Like I said, maybe the best resources of Lebanon is their population, the human resources. So yes, we do invest in our youth by schooling, by university, by good education, by good. I mean, the internet is there, of course. Everything is exposed to them. With particularly education, free education is there for everybody.
Education is the primary investment of the country.
It's obligatory to a certain level,
right,
and is free to all levels.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we at AIDIA Talk, we would very much like the youngsters to understand the art of diplomacy, the importance of foreign policies, and the interest in international affairs. We try to garnish their attention.
Yeah.
To the youngsters watching this episode, our conversation, is there anything that you would like to say to our Nepali youngsters and all the audience in general?
Thank you. Of course, to them I would say that education is the best arm that they can have, is the best supporter. Go to schools, learn more, and discover the world, and you will be there.
Last question to you, because I really want to ask this. How would you define the art of diplomacy? In 2 lines.
It's difficult to define it in 2 lines, but the art of diplomacy is to connect the world together with peaceful means and to avoid any violence with the relationship between government and the people.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I thank you.
In this beautiful episode of AIDIA Talk. It was wonderful having you, Dr. Rabie Narsh. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon again in Nepal. Thank you so much.
I will.
On that note, we come to an end to yet another insightful conversation, we hope, from AIDIA Talk. Hoping to get you more interesting insights and conversation in the days to come. I think this is a wrap for now. Thank you for joining us. You have a wonderful time wherever you are in the world.